right, patrons and members. It's been a while since I've given you some content. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm in the midst of church planting. I'm in the midst of fundraising for church planting. So please be gracious at the time. I want to talk about something here. This is old. Once again, this is black and blurred fashion. Like I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to stay up to date, but I do want to be diligent in the way that we think about things. Can you imagine if there was a white news anchor that was found out to be in adultery with a black news anchor, and then fellow white news anchors or maybe fellow white commentators posted videos on social media and told this fellow white news anchor, look, you've gotten yourself in enough trouble messing with these, Negroes, these black women, these Shoniquas. You've done enough. You've gotten yourself in enough turmoil messing with these Shoniquas. You need to leave these baby mamas alone. And you need to get back to the purebred white women. You need to get back to what's good for you. Can you imagine what would happen the moment these videos hit the airwaves? The country will be burned to the ground. But we do live in a racist country, y'all, because that is allowed so long as you're black. It is allowed to talk like this if you are black. And that is exactly what has happened with Shannon Sharpe and the firestorm he finds himself in, living a life of sexual immorality. That's just what it is. He lives a life of sexual immorality, and these are the pangs that result. Living that life, he has an immoral relationship with a woman who is now, what I believe, just kind of fleecing him for some money, claiming that she was raped. And from the different pieces of evidence, it shows that they just had a very weird and kinky sexual relationship. And she used that and their conversations against Shannon Sharpe to try to get money from him. So now we have the infamous Dr. Umar commenting on that. And I want to show you guys his words and just give you a little bit of my thinking on it. And we'll be done with this video.
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother. Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother, on one condition. I'm getting text messages from all over the African universe telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable. I'm getting text messages telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable. I'm going to stand with my uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with my uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with Uncle Shay Shay on one condition. Uncle Shay Shay, no more snow bunnies after this scandal. If you cannot promise me that you will never seek the company of another snow bunny, I cannot stand with you. Uncle Shay Shay. Uncle Shay Shay. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam.
I hate the fact that he has to repeat himself 3 billion times. I mean, what in the world? But the fact of the matter is that he's positing that this is the result of Shannon Sharpe dealing with a white woman. That's what a snow bunny is, if you haven't picked up on that. It's the fact that he's dealing with a white woman that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in this circumstance, not because of just living a sexually immoral life. Shannon Sharpe is almost 60. He's almost 60. I want to say he's 55 or 56. And this woman is in her 20s, I think early 20s. So yeah, it's about time that he had a wife. He has children, but this is the result of it. And by Dr. Umar's words, it's the result of dealing with white women, because apparently black women would never do something like this ever. Meanwhile, you have entire TV shows dedicated to black women and their estranged relationships with famous husbands. Was it The Real Housewife, whatever it is? I mean, I think there's a mix on those things, but yeah, this is what sin does. This is what sin does. But Dr. Umar can say that it's a result of Shannon Sharpe dealing with white women. Let's listen a little bit more.
I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one, but Uncle Shay Shay, no more bunnies after this. Can somebody confirm if he's being accused by snow bunnies or Afro queens? Is Uncle Shannon being accused of snow bunnies or Afro queens? Who can confirm? Does anybody know the race of Uncle Shay Shay's accusers?
He's trying to make it seem like he doesn't know the race. But at this point, when this video came out, I think that had already been, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is racist. I mean, this is acceptable. There are no pastors. There are no black pastors that are coming out against this dude. Dr. Umar is one of the most viral racists in America today. And people see it as, championing his cause. It's like, look, we just got to deal with our own Afro queens. And meanwhile, you get into the history of the black church, what I talked about a while ago when I talked about the history of the black church, is that what you saw immediately after the creation of the black church, and I use that colloquially, where you had black Christians that needed to have to meet in secret because they weren't allowed to meet. They weren't allowed to gather together. And so they had to meet in secret. They also were not welcome in the Methodist church. And so they had to create their own church. That's where the AME came from, the African American Methodist Church. African Methodist Episcopal Church. Now, do you know what happened the moment they had their own space? Well, then they started to have a feud between men and women. The women were claiming that men were oppressive. We want our own space. We want our right to be able to lead. We want to be the head. This is sin. That's why it's healthy for a church to talk about racism, because when you look at racism biblically, it's sin. You don't have to wait for some stupid academic to come to you with a bunch of jibber jabber gobbledygook saying that, hey, this is what racism really is. And then by the end, you know it, that if you eat syrup that has Aunt Jemima's face on the syrup bottle, you're a racist. No. It is that same gobbledygook that has allowed people like Dr. Umar to thrive. He thrives because it's the gobbledygook that has told us that only racists have white skin. And apparently, they're American, the youngest country in the world. So racism started in America. Obviously, that's not a part of the teachings, but all you have to do is ask questions about these stupid philosophies that are being promulgated in pulpits. They're actually being promulgated in pulpits. Soft men, if you listen to my most recent episode. Soft men. If you're a member, you probably get this episode before that episode comes out, but it's the result of soft men. Holler at me.